Hello everyone, this is Redact and this game is called Suzerain. So last time, what did we do last time? It was like 5 minutes ago. Right, so we met with the media mogul guy, we have some sort of deal with him. So if we want something suppressed in the media, he will do it for us, but he wants something in return. Don't know what that is, we'll find that out later. Probably mean I'll get assassinated or whatever, I don't know. It's probably a bad idea, but we do need the media on our side. Something else happened, I can't remember what it is. We'll figure it out later. Right, let's resume. All the news is done, so let's go to the funeral. Death of Bernard Circus has shocked the country, and his funeral will be held in Daya. A large crowd of sympathizers. Circus was not only a communist poet, but also an elected MP that had a voice. State funeral has been organised to honour him. The question is whether the President and the administration will attend the funeral. We will attend the funeral. It was an MP. Doesn't matter what faction he belonged to. Need to be respectful. Okay, so are we attending the funeral now? Something else happened? Did we get invaded yet? We're gonna crush what they're called. Rumberg. We're gonna crush them. Funeral. Yeah, let's go. The clouds were looming over there. They looked daunting as our convoy started approaching the century-old cemetery. It looked like it was going to rain, certainly fitting weather for a funeral. As expected, Bernard Circus passing maintained its media traction, and all Sordland was paying attention to the ceremony. See? All publicity is good publicity. I know what I'm doing. Especially to what I would say in my speech today. Okay. We have arrived, says Serge. Raindrops were running down the car window when Serge opened my door and held an umbrella over my head. As soon as I got up, flashes from the cameras blinded me. It's okay, Serge. I will hold my own umbrella. Yeah, don't worry. I don't want you to get wet, Serge, okay? As you wish, sir. He handed me the umbrella and started waiting next to the car with his own. Yeah, he's got his own umbrella, good. Peter and Car exited from their own cars in the convoy. They made their way over to me. Anton? Who's Anton? Who's Anton? Oh, am I Anton? Yes, I'm Anton. Mr. President. So he's the chief of police, yeah, okay. When he informed that perimeter is clear and secured completely, there's no one getting in and out without our knowledge. We don't want something similar happening, do we? You'll be fired, Carl, if something like that happens. You better be right for your sake. Yeah, good work. Thank you, Carl. Carl bowed his head with respect. Good. If anything happens to Anton, you have to answer to the First Lady. Exactly. And trust me, Carl, you don't want that. Peter let out a laugh, which drew some attention from bereaved attendees. Peter! Peter, you're being inconsiderate. I don't think any of us want that. Gestured Peter lowered his voice. You're the only one who can make me laugh at a funeral. I don't think any of us want what? Oh, that anything to happen to me. Why would I say that? Okay, let's just lower your voice. You're alright, sorry. Started to rain. Several unintelligible voices were heard from Carl's radio. He stepped out to reply and returned shortly. We have a small problem. A few, 5 to exact, Red Reef members are here to attend the funeral. They apparently said they wish to pay their respects to their fallen comrade. Should we let them in? Yeah, post a guard on them. He's their MP, so I don't want to keep them out of it, but I also don't want them to have a free reign. As you command. Yes, as I command. Let's head over, they're about to start. We walked to the crowd circled around the grave. Everyone in attendance was wearing black. The rain started pouring heavily. Bernard's widow and daughter in the front row, staring at the coffin with a mixture of disbelief, confusion, and above all, a cold, unforgiving sadness. Both of their eyes were very red and swollen from weeping. Before taking my place to observe the ceremony, I gave my condolences to Bernard's wife and his daughter, who looked at me. She reminded me of Diana. When the religious ceremony was done, I was invited by the priest to deliver my speech. I took the podium. Felt like I had a lump in my throat. I couldn't get the daughter's eyes out of my head. Today we are mourning Bernard Circus, a father, a husband, and loyal servant of this country. Towards the back of the crowd, I spotted members of the Red Youth wearing red shirts and black bands of mourning on their arms. They seemed ruly and were respectively bowing their heads. They seemed ruly. Okay. Unruly? Oh yeah, so ruly. Okay, fine. There was complete silence except for the sound of raindrops. It's a great loss for all of us. I will confess I disagree with Bernard almost entirely. But it doesn't mean that he deserved this. Our country can be a better place. Regardless of his ideology, this was a heinous act made towards a good man. We must end this cycle of violence. He's a true comrade, and he fought for what he believed in, his ideal vision of Sordland in every step of his life. Yeah, regardless of it was a heinous act. We make sure the unfortunate events such as this will never happen again. Circus is a dream of a unified Sordland. These next few months we need to fulfill his dream and band together. I interpret this attack as an attack against Sordland and by extension against me personally. I promise you this, the blood of Bernard will not remain on the sacred ground of Sordland. What? That's probably not a very nice thing to say. Yeah, we need to band together. Well, yeah, we need to make sure it doesn't happen again. There's all mourn the passing of Bernard and remember him well. But hatred begets hatred. There is only one way to overcome this vicious cycle. We must unite against the evil of the world. The tears of the family he left behind have a price that needs to be paid. I will not stop until it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. Let's just chill out, everyone, alright? Thank you. Thank you. No, I'm not going to recite one of his poems. I think that's too much leaning towards his ideology, so I'm not going to do that. Thank you. Some attendees started clapping, some crying. Oh no! What's going to happen? I'm panicking about what's going to happen. Catherine was lowered into the grave by the gravekeepers. After a couple of minutes, Bernard was put with the soil no more. As we bid farewell to Bernard, I want to close with the words every sword lived by Morgna Vescor. Yes. Everyone replied, Vecton Sister. Victory is close. With applause as I stepped down from the podium, it was time to leave. The widow thanked me with a soft and defeated voice before we dispersed. We went back to the car. I couldn't get the eyes of Bernard's daughter, nor the faltering voice of his wife out of my head. Would Diana, Monica, and Frank look the same way if something happened to me? Peter put his hand on my shoulder. That was a good speech. I know, it was an excellent speech. I sensed only respect from his voice. It's time to go. Time to go. Thank you, I mean it. I know you do. Come on, it's time to go. We've got work to do. Here we do. He was right, we had work to do. So much more to do. I realised the rain had stopped and I looked up. The black clouds slowly dispersed and the sunbeams enlightened our surroundings. Someone once said, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. Hope was still on the horizon. Right, so there's going to be news about the... whatchamacallit, no doubt. Funeral. Right, what's going on over here then? Briefing on the current diplomatic situation. Okay, let's do that. The mansion in Lackhaven hosted us for the important diplomacy gathering. Door opened, and David Fishy wants to lecture to me. Now the Minister of Foreign Affairs gently made his way towards my desk. May I sit down, Mr. President? No, you may not. Leave the formalities aside, David. Please take a seat. Of course, it's a pleasure to see you. No, he should call me. Yes, I'm the President, so I can call him by his first name. Or is it disrespectful? I should say something. I shouldn't just gesture. No, I'll call him by his first name because that's what I do with everyone else. Alright, I'm getting used to your new position, Anton. Yeah, exactly. I'm not calling you Mister anymore. Slowly sat down, taking care not to aggravate the arthritis in his knees. He also had an air of gravitas about him, and the old age had only served to deepen that. After he settled himself, he regarded me with delight, his blue eyes sparkling. Look at you, Anton, the 4th president of Sordland. What a privilege for me. Still remember the first day you took my class at Whole Sword State University. Somehow the inexplicable ebb and flow of life has led us here. The positions where we can change the course of history. Everything happens for a reason. We got a little lucky. No, we didn't. It's pure skill. It's our opportunity to shape the future, and we will do precisely that. We certainly will. Looking forward to our new foreign policy. He started coughing again, this time for longer. Oh no, is he ill? Would you like some tea or water? Yeah. It might be a bit rude to ask about his health. Yes, please. Tea and water sounds nice. Thank you very much. He smiled. Livia brought 2 cups of tea along with a glass of water and placed them on the table. It seems you still remember how much I like tea. Nowadays it really does wonders to my throat. Let's ask how the wife is doing. My lovely Catherine is energetic as always. Ada's hit me harder than her for sure. She does her daily jogs unlike me. Nothing can challenge time. Nothing. How's the Rain family? It's really getting used. Frank never liked spotlight, so that hasn't changed. We're slowly getting used to it. As time passes, I realise it more. Family is the most important thing in life. We must take care of them. Door opened. Joseph and Lucien joined us for the briefing as the tall case clock hit the hour mark. Pete, however, missing. I wonder if he was late from all the drinking he did at the party. Okay, we need to talk to him about that. We'll talk more later, President Rain. Oh, welcome, everyone. How was your travel? A little bumpy due to some turbulence. I arrived by a military cargo plane that landed at Lachevin International. I took the train. It was a little slow, but I can still recommend it for the beautiful landscape. I also had the possibility to work on a couple of things during the ride. When I heard it would be much faster when the L1 high-speed railway is finished. Exactly. We're hoping one of our major achievements. Yes, it will. Well, there's going to be lots of major achievements. Well, since Mr. Vecton doesn't seem to be coming today, I think we're ready to start. We'll start by providing a brief overview of our current status with our neighbours. What would you like to start with? Let's hear about Agnolia. Our brotherly nation to the northeast, Agnolia. They are still diplomatically non-aligned and probably have one of the most democratic systems between our neighbours. Okay. Fine. Economic stagnation is a worry for them. Their primary issue is their heavy reliance on foreign investment from us. Oh, right. Noli is our most friendly neighbour. We have been allies for the longest time after Rumburg annexed Dome. This fact needs to be part of the equation. Okay. Did not know that. Yeah, so we're sort of a union with them. Economic boom. Okay. Unsurprisingly, the Agnonian Prime Minister, Martin van Horten, is expecting better cooperation through a new fair trade deal with us. It was one of his election mandates. Okay, let's help him out. We'll think about his request. The matter is still on the table. A more comprehensive trade deal sounds beneficial to all sides. Both sides will gain from it, but Agnolia will win more than us. They want to protect their weaker industries, which we are profiting from selling our goods to. Additionally, the latest numbers indicate that currently 1 million Agno-Swordish citizens live in the Aglen region of Sordland, which creates the link between foreign policy and our internal affairs. These people have suffered socio-economically, which led them to crime and other problems. In addition, a relaxed immigration policy was Agnolia's main request, which is unacceptable. Most of the immigrants in our country haven't even assimilated into Swordish culture. Adding more won't help. Yeah, I'm skeptical. You should be. We've already witnessed several society shifting waves of migration. Should remember that we promised to tighten our immigration rules. Yes, we did. I want to know more about Vargsland. Our cousins of old across the Markian Sea wish to have a good relations with us. Vargsland is a socialist republic aligned with United Contana. They're an important regional player. It's also the most significant sea power in eastern Macopa. It holds relations with them after several wars in the 19th century, which we wouldn't want to experience again. Recently, the relationship was warm thanks to Emmerich Hengel. As a result, diplomatic talks can be conducted in the future. It's not easy to forget about the Great Fire of Conriat. Thousands of lives were lost that day. Breaking the ice with Bankslag could be good if we were to rise diplomatically. Yeah, so it's okay to, I think, to be friends with them. We just don't want to be friends with whoever the USSR, yeah, the Contra. We don't really want. Yeah, we should try and be friends because we've got a war going on with whatever. Yes, we should be friends with them. Agree, they could be potential allies in my opinion. The situation in the region necessitates we find allies. They're meaning good relations with us past 200 years. Recently, they also joined the communist Contanan Security Pact, subjugating themselves to United Contana. Top of that, territorial issues flare up between Agnola and Vargsland because of the Helgeland Island. The Swedish Navy is very concerned with the volatile situation. Lucian looks slightly worried. Fortunately, billions of Swedish ren worth of cargo is transported close to the Vagslandian maritime borders. In the Markian Sea. In the Grey Strait. Okay. Cause significant risk to our imports and exports in the case of deterioration in relations. Okay, let's... The strait is of high strategic worth. Yeah, let's stay friendly, but not too friendly, I think. Joseph, the Navy is keeping an eye on the situation from a distance, right? We are actively monitoring the sea routes and cargo ships. For now, there's no immediate threat, but we don't know what can happen in the future. What about the situation in Wayland? It's tumultuous in the south as always. Viktor Smolak is expanding his powers among protests from the Redact people. However, he's quite positive about normalization of relationship between our countries. Okay, so friends with them. Reports indicate they've been warming up to the Contarian international aid. As you know, red instability was always a concern for the region. So the Contans are also being friends with them. Presidential Republic. So they're nationalist. Okay. But if we want to help them, we must not treat refugees like we did in the 30s. I still can't stomach the inhumanity of those people suffered. I still can't stomach the inhumanity of those people suffered. Okay, the inhumanity those people suffered. Trade agreement with them will improve stability and increase mutual trade. Why help such a disorganized state? Not sure what we can do to help them. Sordland paid enough for housing millions of refugees during the Wayland Civil War. No more. Let's try and have a trade agreement with them. Many bargaining chips discussed, but Wayland could be a new partner in the region. We could invest in stability there. The main goal should be to avoid a refugee crisis like the late 1920s. That civil war had major security and economic repercussions on Swedish soil. One of the demands of President Smolak was to tighten our immigration laws so that the political refugees don't escape to Sordland. Okay, we can do that. Because we don't want refugees either. Recent purge, and what they do internally is up to them. I'm not going to worry about that. In recent purge, it pushed many Bludists to flee to Bergia. Right, okay, so they came in. Gunrent outposts have retained its importance due to this. I'm sure you remember that winter of the border outpost, Mr. President. Yes. I did remember that winter. I remembered how much cold it was and when let the refugee lit through. I was discharged of my duties as a result. By Major Joseph Lancian, no less. Spending the rest of my service cleaning toilets and sleeping in a cell. In fact, there's been a similar refugee situation in the past. It Mr. President himself chose to disobey direct orders from his commanding officer at the time. You made me sleep in the cell. I will never forget it. I did what was right. Past is past. Let's move on. Everybody's about to say something, but David cut in. Our focus should be on the current matters. The Bluetooth minority is very large inside Redland 2, which is a factor to consider. Our national interest to prevent the formation of a failed state on our western border. When it has been increasingly aligning itself towards communist alliance, another point to analyse. Yes. Okay, so I've got to remember that. Which two important neighbouring countries remain? Lesbia and Rumburg. Which would you like to hear about first? Oh my goodness. Okay, Lesbia then. Right, these guys. Lining itself more and more with Arcasia. Arcasia is superpower. Right, that's the Americans then, is it? Yeah, they're the Americans, alright. It's fine. They shouldn't attack us. Jewel of the continent's second largest economy. Although wealthy, Lesbia suffers from excessive economic inequality. Past relations have been great, but during the last decade, their investment in Sordland dwindled due to our instability. Allying with the richest regional nation, which could be beneficial. Lesbias are sleeping dying, we should not wake them. They keep turning a blind eye towards the region, thinking that Lesbia is above all. Yeah, it could be beneficial. Could be, but they also mean that we draw closer to the Arcasia bloc and near the Arcasian Treaty Organization. So the recession has a lot to do with their retraction of investments. Once they see that money isn't in the picture, they vanish rather quickly because they are capitalists. Capitalist scum! We've shown a selfish attitude during the Redland Civil War by closing their borders and funding refugees into Sordland. Right, we don't like them then. Our values are too different. Well, I mean, they closed their borders. I mean, we also want to do that. Capitalism is inspirational. No, we're not going to do that. Completely agree. Lesbia has for a long time benefited from us through our old tariffs. They are after exploitation. Hundreds of very privileged oligarchs who invest inside and outside of Lesbia. Some made significant business investments in in Velgen, okay. What's the situation in Rumburg? Scumbags. As the most troubling nation, Rumburg, a constitutional monarchy led by Queen Bertrice Livingston. I wonder who they could be. Highly advised caution and calculated action against Rumburg. Our military must be prepared. The threat is real. They are strong and have the motivation, as well as the means to damage us. Shouldn't give them any reasons to pursue aggression. Rumburg is and always will be a rogue-like state. Nothing can be done about them. I will take your advice in consideration, yes. The types of nations will always try to take up a casus belli, reason to declare war. While Fernberg openly denies such claims, their past current actions make clear they want to destabilize us. The weapon caches found by intelligence agency clearly shows what their goals are. Our military must be steadfast and our diplomacy valiant. Okay. Joseph looks stern and full of resolve. The Rumburg threat is one of our top priorities. You can be assured of that. Yes. All's open in dialogue with our Rumburg ambassador to make sure a channel is open to solve disputes. We could use their aggressive attitude against them by convincing the international community. Yes. Excellent idea, Lucien. Lucien grabbed the Lactavan Times newspaper and put his finger on the article about the latest diplomatic incident. Their abrupt announcement about the close of the Rumburg consulate. Another step in their escalation. This covers the overview of the current situation. We will move on to draw trade choice and the response to Rumburg's diplomatic escalation. The sun began to set over the hills surrounding Lactavan. He was ready to give advice on any new trade initiative and the response to the latest diplomatic incidents with Rumburg. Peter arrived late and a little rougher than usual. He must have been drinking from last night. Hey there, folks. Excuse my delay. I didn't want to miss anything we didn't already know. I'm sure I didn't miss anything. Still supposed to be as part of the meeting. Also on time. Exactly. Punctuality is important. We're talking about serious subjects here. He was assigned a task with me, that's why he's late. They have a point, Peter. We should have discipline in the cabinet. Don't comment. Okay, yeah. He was assigned. Let's just lie. Okay, good. Peter's tone was far more serious. Expect a report on your desk tomorrow. The Vice President will also be part of the trade delegation, so it's great to have an input on the subject, but also on the Rumberg incident. 2 issues at hand. Which topic should we tackle first? Let's do the trade negotiations, because I'm going to have to remember what's going on. Our primary goal will be to successfully sign a trade agreement with one of our smaller neighbours. We have 2 options with our trade initiatives. Start a new negotiations with our old partner and forming a new cooperation with Wellen. So, Agnonu is the one that we have a deal with, right? An alliance of some kind. Got one of the weakest ones. But they are sympathetic, so they should be friends with us, but they wanted a better trade deal. Just tell me about this trade deal with them. Has its positives and negatives dealing with them. For it will be lucrative in the short term. There are risks associated with doing such a country. They're proposing a co-investment projects and no tariff agreement. Also offering all in return for attracting foreign capital interest from Sordland. There will be international ramifications getting closer with a country like Vermin. All in all, it's a very lucrative deal for all of us. However, we need to think about the consequences. Certainly don't support the system to become friendly with Vermin. Carried their burdens for decades. The immigrants flooded our country and now they expect a deal from us. Maintaining influence would prove useful, but risky, but our influence by an underdeveloped region like that could also sell more products and enter their market easily. Another opinion is simply too risky. Yes, we could gain resource and immediate capital, but in favour of the consequences. I think return is too lucrative to pass on regardless of the risk. You may be right, it's risky. I tend to agree. If we wish to go forward with the deal when the time comes, there is the topic of immigration to consider. Victor Solmak is a known isolationist. Our promised our tighten our immigration policy will increase the likelihood of the deal. These our borders need better security. Personally don't like the idea of getting too close. Me too. Agreed. Okay, so no one wants to go close to them. Still think we should give it a try. Tell me about the one with Agnolia. First off, the reason behind this option is more diplomatic than economic. Although, of course, we can't forego the added economic value. Yeah, they're an old ally and valuable trade partner. The point is there were early negotiations around the steel trade. They're demanding that we buy their steel for a higher price. That is because they think the deal is far too unbalanced as it is. Now, is us buying steel going to impact the railway that we're building right now? Is it suddenly going to, we have to spend more money? Because I don't want to do that. The main demand is privileged access to our agricultural market. If we would fill their demands in return, they're offering a full alliance with Sordland against Rumberg. Ooh! In the current advance in Rumberg near our borders, having a coalition against Rumberg could prove extremely useful. Obviously, there would be consequences for entering a full alliance. Mainly the issue around the Helgi Islands. Wagensland has clear intentions on taking over the island one way or another, and entering a military alliance with Angnola will make them furious. Yeah, I'm not too worried about them, really. I want to state my support for this and stick to our old ally. Even though I disagreed with their demand to relax immigration, we have cooperated with them on many issues in the past. Obviously, subjects that we still need to tackle, like our economies, the traded goods, and what to do with immigration. It's a good deal. We should go for it. The Agnonian Prime Minister is trying to improve the existing relationship. The downside is we need to make concessions, a reliability of any trade deal. I'd be open to creating a new agreement that would satisfy all sides. Yes, let's do that. That would be the best outcome. Besides that, Agnonia is a good option. Another point is that they have a very democratic system. After recent elections, the PM has mandated to arrange a fairer deal with us. Martin van Hulten is also an avid supporter of relaxed immigration. Don't really want... If we said tight immigration, he might be reluctant. Regardless, we're going to increase our regional influence to previous levels. We need to make amends with our neighbours. Okay. Ultimate decision would be reviewed always. So we did not promise to align with either East or West. It's very likely that their concerns would be more around the deal itself. We also need to consider the effects of our economic doctrine plan. The fact that we're headed toward a planned economy will have an influence. Good negotiators optimize the interests, which makes the differences become trivial, allowing both sides to reach a deal. Yeah, guys just need to sort it out. Very true. A lot of time to prepare before the scheduled visits. Gives a brief overview of the current options. We should address a diplomatic incident. Roman Council Sir Brian Harrington announced the closure of the 120-year-old consulate. The staff is leaving. Blame lack of security due to assassination. They're making excuses. Bastards! First they close the consulate and then they blame our security. The security situation, they are playing with us. Isn't it telling when other countries are working with us while Rumberg is just cutting more ties? Yes, it is. Neglect of President Alfonso and the chaos of the elections delayed our diplomatic efforts. Now, there are only 2 Rumberg diplomatic missions left in Sordland. Constantly in Dea, and the other one is in Wholesword. They must display strength, yes. Can't be pushed around. All this may be a calculated plan of action to push us to a corner and act irrationally. That is my fear. Might be looking for Cassius Belli. They are slowly spiraling downward to find reasons to wage war. Joseph Lancier was furious. He barely kept himself from slamming the desk. There are worrying developments like the smuggling armed and the build-up near the border. Our military must be buffed up to stand against a regional power like Rumberg. We either respond to this aggression act with diplomatic condemnation or we retaliate by closing our consulate. Saying that escalation would be risky this early in our presidency, we should focus on creating a negative image of Rumberg in the international scene. People of Sordland must be protected no matter the cost. I say we respond equally. Write an official diplomatic response condemning this unreasonable act. Declare that Rumberg aims to destabilize Sordland and the region. By closing the Sordland consulate in Dome, they think they can bully us. They are never so wrong. I think we should go tit for tat, but I also like to do a diplomatic response. Okay, we shall... Yeah, let's do that. We're immediately informing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Swaying the international state is a key and long-term strategy. Wish we had reacted more strongly. We don't confront them and we keep escalating. Well, we will escalate later. Don't worry. On the other hand, I'm glad we were taking a more cautious road. Trade delegation will begin work towards the end of the year. We expect final negotiating and signing to happen next year. I'm very much looking forward to visiting Starport and... well, Chloritz. The party animals like David and Simon. Haha. Peter laughed. Yusuf narrowed his eyes and stared at him. That concludes our meeting, Mr. Rain. Thank you all for coming. I will take my leave. Sir. Meeting concluded and the team dispersed. Our diplomatic action plan officially began. Oh yes. Right. So we're seeing, there's obviously a lot of stuff on the map now that I need to have a look at, but we will do that next time. We also need to read the news. So we will do that as well. So, yeah, let's see what that trade agreement and that diplomatic plan against Rumberg, whether that does anything. We'll find out next time. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.